What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about rejection and the two ways that I've handled rejection in my life. One way is not so great, the other way is much better and much more fulfilling. And before I get into that, I just want to say that rejection is something that I still struggle with. It's something that I will struggle with. And I will never be in a position where I'm not getting rejected. And nor do I want to be in a position where I'm not getting rejected, because as a podcaster, as a human being, by putting myself out there, I am giving myself opportunities to become rejected. That you can't live a sick life. You can't live an amazing life without being rejected, because if you're never facing rejection, you aren't pushing the boundaries, you aren't asking for opportunities that you really want. You're probably either closing off or playing it safe. And so rejection, to me, if I wasn't getting rejected, that would almost be an alarm sign to me, where I think, okay, everyone said yes to me for the last year. Am I not asking for enough? Am I hanging around the wrong people? What is going on? The rejection to me is like a signal of, okay, yeah, I'm going for it. I'm putting myself out there. I'm approaching opportunities with vigor. I'm not holding myself back. I'm not seeking other people's approval. I'm not turning down the volume knob on my desires. I'm just fucking going for it. And when you do that, rejection happens. And there's a polarity there. You can try to stay in between and please everyone, and people on this side say yes, and people on this side say yes, but then your product, your personality, your whole life becomes bland, it becomes vanilla. Or you can accept the fact that this is how I want to live, these are the opportunities I want to go for, and this is the type of content that I want to create. And therefore, that is going to polarize people. That the people who really fucking love me will love me, and the people who don't like me will really not like me, and that's okay. This isn't for everyone. I'm not for everyone. And accepting that has been a huge step forward in feeling happier, feeling more fulfilled as a person and as a podcaster. So the two ways that I've handled rejection, this may actually be three now that I'm thinking about it, but let's start with the two ways first. So the first way that I've handled rejection, and I would call this the unhealthy way, or the more negative way, is I take rejection personally. And I take rejection personally for a couple of reasons. I take rejection personally because I'm seeking that person's approval. I've put that person on a pedestal, and also because my attention is on needing that opportunity. My attention is not on the abundance of opportunities that exist should that person or event, whatever you're seeking, falls through. My attention and my drive and my focus is tunnel visioned on, I need this person to appear on my podcast, or I need this person to go out with me, or I need this event, like I need to get this, I need this interview, something like that. I need this job. If I don't get this job, it's going to destroy me. And when I am tunnel visioned on needing the approval of someone else or something else, or needing that thing in my life, like almost to the point of obsessing over it, when that rejection comes, and oftentimes it does, because there's an energy where if you need something too much, it's almost like if you ever hold two ends of the battery together that aren't supposed to come together, or sorry, not batteries, magnets. If you hold two magnets together in where the positive is on the positive and there's almost that like repelling force where you want to smash it together, and the more you try to, the more it pushes it away. It's almost like that when you need something too much in your life. And so when I've needed something too much or needed someone too much, and the rejection happens, I take it personally. I go into a funk. I dislike that person for no reason. Maybe I hold a grudge. Maybe I tell them to go fuck off. And I spend time and energy thinking about ways to get back at that person, or to beat that person, to get revenge, or I'm gonna show them. And it's actually a sign of weakness. It's a sign of weakness from within myself and my own ego, that I need this person's approval so much that they now become my focus after the rejection. It's like, no, I'm gonna show you. No, I'm gonna show you why you should have gone out on a date with me, or I'm gonna show you why you should have been on my podcast, or I'm gonna show you why you should have given me this opportunity. Even though they've rejected you and that person has made clear that they don't want this opportunity, they don't want you in their life, you are still dedicating energy towards this person in the form of getting back at them. And it's an uneven dedication, because that person has gone on and completely forgotten about you 99% of the time, and they don't even know the way that you feel. They don't even know that you've been this has been grinding your gears for the past 6 months. So it's not an even balance, and that's what's so sick about it. That's what's so awful about it, is that it's just like this one-sided vengeance or relationship that you've spiraled into because of a rejection. And so that's the negative way I've handled rejection. That's the shitty way to handle rejection, and I've done that many times as a single man, as an early podcaster. If someone got back to me, or maybe a bad comment or something, and that they then become the focus. The healthier way that I've learned to handle rejection, through experience, through listening to other podcasters that I am inspired by having close friends that are able to offer their guidance, and just by living and learning that there are better ways to handle rejection than others, and that way is the opposite. It's to not take it personally. The healthier way to handle rejection is to see rejection as a thing that happens. Don't give any power to it. Rejection is like this coffee cup. It's just a thing that happens in my life. I went to the gym, I drank some coffee, I got rejected, I had an amazing night with my friends, I woke up, got an email, got an opportunity, next week went to the gym, got rejected. It's just a thing that happens. There's no energy to it. It's an object, and in a way it's like you're objectifying rejection, because you're not giving it these human characteristics. You're not giving it a force. You're not giving it a name. You're not giving it your time, money, and energy. And the way that I've been able to do that, because saying, don't take rejection personally, it's like, yeah, but it's fucking hard. So how do you do that? It's not an overnight thing. The way that I've been able to work towards that over years in my late teens and early 20s is, number one, don't give people more power over you than they deserve. Do not elevate a person's status above you when you want an opportunity. There's a recognizing the difference between want and need. I want people on my podcast. I want people in my life in the form of friends, of partners. I want certain things in my life, but as soon as I flip that switch and go to need, then my survival, my well-being then depends on that person accepting me into their life. I'm outsourcing the thriving of my life. I'm outsourcing the well-being of my life to other people. As soon as I flip that switch to needs, like, I need this person on my podcast. Okay, You need them? Well, they said no. Are you still a podcaster? Yeah. So you didn't need them. You wanted them. Oh, I need this person to be my partner. Well, they don't want you to. Okay. Well, are you still alive? They've broken up with you. It's a year later. Your heart's still beating. You don't need them. You wanted them. And so I get it. Easier said than done. So don't take rejection personally. The first step is to recognize the difference between need and want, and also to change your language when you're talking about it. If you're saying it to yourself or you're saying it in your head, I need this, I need this, I need this, and then it leaks over into your verbal communication, then that leads over to desire. Your desires are rooted in our thoughts and communications. We can change the way we feel and operate by changing the language we use. So first, change the language from need to want. Unless you're talking about food or shelter, things that you absolutely need in your life, then you don't need it, you want it. The second thing, the second thing is focusing on opportunities. The second thing, so the first thing about not taking rejection personally is separating the need from the want and recognizing that. The other thing that goes along with not taking rejection personally is focusing on the opportunity over the rejection. So when I've gotten rejected in the past, my focus, that would force me to have tunnel vision on this person or thing I'm being rejected by, group of people, whatever it is. And so the rejection would lead to tunnel vision. Now, when I'm rejected, I've learned over time, because again, this is an overnight thing, when I sense rejection or I get rejected, my vision expands. I then start to focus, okay, this is out of my control, this person rejected me. Let's look at the abundance of other opportunities that I can now approach, that I can now reach out to, that I can now pursue. And so that is the main shift in not taking rejection personally for me. After the separating the need from the want is, here's looking at, I'm looking at the camera over here that doesn't exist. Here's you. When you get rejected and then you collapse in on that single person or opportunity and you are only able to see this, that fucks you up. But when you get rejected and you're here and then all of a sudden you open up and you bring more things into your life, more opportunities, more people, more events, more jobs, more locations, whatever you're looking at, that is, for me, has been the main driver behind not taking rejection personally, is taking advantage of those opportunities. So again, to recap, I have been extremely unhealthy with the way that I've taken rejection earlier on in my life, late teens, 20s, and that's just part of growing up. And I did that because I was putting opportunities on a pedestal. I was not separating I need this from I want this, and I would take it personally. I would get tunnel vision. I would focus everything on that one opportunity, that one person that just rejected me. And then over time, I stopped putting people on a pedestal. I did not need the approval of others. Even, let's say, Joe Rogan. Like, I love listening to Joe Rogan. If I ever had the opportunity to be on his podcast or have him on my podcast, that would be fucking incredible. And even someone that I admire as much as Joe Rogan, he's a hero in the podcasting game to me because he exposed some of the ways that you can have conversations and people want to listen to them and get into whatever topics you want. You can chase your curiosity and still find an audience. You don't have to limit your curiosity to just one single thing. Even if I had the opportunity to be on his podcast or he was to come on my podcast, and that opportunity closed. It was rejected. Either he rejected me, or something happened, and I still would. I don't need Joe Rogan. I admire Joe Rogan. I love listening to Joe Rogan. I am inspired by him, but I don't need him. And so that's the difference for me. Earlier in my career, I was seeking approval from others much more. I was putting other people up here, when in reality everyone's on the same fucking level. Like, followers, listeners, download, like, some people are going to attain a wider audience. Some people are going to get more recognition. But once you start to flatten out and say, everyone is a human being, everyone has flaws, everyone has imperfections, including me, especially me, then you stop romanticizing your rejections. You stop building up your rejections in your own head. You stop telling yourself that story of, I need this person, I need this thing, I need this relationship, I need this podcast, and then you can let go and focus on the opportunities. You can focus on the abundance of opportunities, because there are so many fucking opportunities out there. There's so many different people out there. There's so many different things to do, so many careers. There's an endless amount of opportunities that you can focus on, that you can pivot to. So again, there's this, and then there's this, and everyone is here. No one is on the fucking ceiling, They're not gods. Everyone's here. Everyone's here. So when you start to elevate and you lose track of the sight that, even the, richest fucking, most followers, insanely good looking person on the planet, when they stand next to you, they're looking you right in the fucking eye. They're a human being. Their feet's on the ground, blood's pumping through their heart. Everyone's here. Everyone's here. And when one person says no, everyone's still here. Everyone's still here. So thank you guys for listening to this. I hope you enjoy the solo episodes. If you want bonus solo episodes and bonus podcast conversations, you can go to AUXORO Premium. It's auxoro.supercast.tech. The link will be in the description on YouTube. And I put out 2 bonus episodes per month on topics like Bruce Lee, COVID lab leak. We have one coming up on Tom Cruise, Tuskegee syphilis experiment, It gets wild. It's a wild podcast. No topic off limits. I do it with my brothers, Matt and Dave, and also some other friends as co-hosts. So it's a wild podcast. And then you also get the full video version on AUXORO Premium of the AUXORO podcast, which is the podcast where I have guest conversations. And yeah, take a look. Go to auxoro.supercast.tech. Check it out. Subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a guest podcast or a solo conversation. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.